Hey guys, Haz here at Shield Canine, and today we are going to talk about how to train your new rescue dog. Now, before I get started, I do want to mention that I have a fantastic video out already on how to actually select a rescue dog, right? Setting up your chances of success with that dog start with selection. Now, I understand not everybody's going to be able to select the rescue dog that they're going to end up with, but if you do have the opportunity to go to a shelter or to go to a rescue and select from a number of dogs, you'll find that video very helpful. Now, moving right along, let's assume you have a dog, you've selected a dog, you're going to be bringing this dog home. What do you do? Where do you start? This is going to be very unfamiliar for a lot of people. Maybe the dog has an unknown history. Maybe the dog has a terrible history. What should you do with this dog? Is it different than having other dogs? You know, there's a lot of questions. I am going to walk you guys through my first day, my first week, my first 6 weeks with a rescue dog. Point by point, we're going to go over all the things that I will do with a rescue dog in order to maximize and optimize the chances of success for you, that dog, and your family. Day one, you are going to pick that dog up now at the rescue. You're going to bring that dog home. So a lot of people make the mistake of bringing that dog home loose in the car with them. Now, maybe the dog is really good in the car, has been in a lot of cars and is familiar with the car. Or maybe the dog isn't good in a car. Maybe the dog has never been loose in a car. Maybe the dog, really didn't get out very much at all, or only had maybe negative experiences when they were being transported. Maybe the dog's just going to be anxious, insecure, and overwhelmed because they don't know you and they're not familiar with your car. Either way, here is a big tip that I strongly suggest to, again, make sure that the dog has the least stressful and safest possible experience being transported from the rescue or shelter to your home. New puppy, don't know where to start? Nipping, biting, peeing, barking, doesn't listen. Fast, effective puppy training that actually works. Think Shield Canine. Number one, if at all possible, crate the dog. Some of these dogs are already very familiar with going into crates. They're very comfortable in crates. Instead of expecting the dog to jump into the back of your car and get in a crate, my suggestion, if at all possible, bring the crate into the rescue, or at least in the parking lot in front of the rescue. Have the dog go into the crate. If the dog is a little bit unfamiliar or uncomfortable with being in a crate, you can utilize some food, taking the dog in and out a number of times, even physically putting the dog in the crate if they are unwilling to go in. A lot of dogs are unwilling to go into crates if they've never been in them because they don't believe that they can actually go in. It's not because they actually have a fundamental problem with being in the crate. Once they're in many cases, they're fine. It's just the act of going in that is very difficult for them. So by simply picking them up and putting them in a number of times, letting them come out and doing that a few times, you'll find that in a very short period of time, the dog will actually be willing to go into the crate on its own. Anyway, spending a few minutes there, getting the dog comfortable, getting the dog into the crate, and then picking the dog up in the crate and putting the dog in the vehicle is a fantastic and safe way to get that dog from the rescue to your home in a safe and contained manner. So guys, this is a fantastic example of a dog that doesn't want to go in the crate. Do I want this dog riding loose in my car for the first ride home? Certainly not, right? It's probably not going to be as safe. So what we'll do is we'll just maybe put some food close to the crate in the beginning and get him to eat the food close to the crate. Then we'll get him to put his head in the crate. And practicing moving away is really important. So you can see here, it's all about incrementalizing, right? First you eat from there, then you eat in there. Then we go away, let you relax a little bit, then we come back. Yeah, good. Close the door for 1 second. Good. Open it, let him out. So guys, just sometimes lifting the dog and putting the dog in the crate, as you saw there, is actually way easier. And you can see that once we do it a couple times and he realizes nothing bad is going to happen to him, it'll become easier for him. Ho, ho, ho. There it is. And you can see with like these fearful dogs, the fear just overcomes their common sense, right? Like all their cognition just, fear, insecurity, right? And just by forcing them to do it a couple times, it's not that he doesn't want to do it. It's that he doesn't believe he can do it. That's the thing, right? Like he doesn't believe he can cross this threshold, right? It's somebody that, it's a dog that doesn't believe in himself. It's not because he actually has a problem with being in a crate. It's because he just doesn't believe he can get into it. And by showing him a few times, right, by forcing him in a few times, then he's like, oh, I guess I can do it. Amazing. Good boy, it's magic. So now you have the dog in the crate that you can now lift the dog and put him in your car. And you can see there for a new dog, sometimes if they haven't been in a crate, it's very difficult for them using some food, using some directional leash pressure, if necessary, picking the dog up and putting them in, letting them come in and out a few times, really important. It helps the dog calm down, learn that they're going to be safe in there, and it's a great way now to transport the dog in your car home.
Reactive dog, barking, lunging, chasing, pulling. Enjoy peaceful, pleasant walks again in as little as 1 day. Fast, effective training that works. Shield Canine.
If you have no option of a crate, then bring a friend with you, bring someone with you that can sit in the back and maybe hold on to that dog's leash, just so that the dog isn't bouncing off the walls, the ceiling, presenting a danger to you maybe even while you're trying to drive the vehicle. It'll just help the dog be more settled to have someone in the back with them that is also restraining them from being crazy in the car, and it just makes it so much more likely you're going to get home safe and sound. Once you get the dog home, this is the big moment, right? A lot of people are super excited here. A, they want to show their family, their loved ones, the people that they're living with, this brand new dog, this new member of the family, right? And then B, they want to show the dog the beautiful home that he is now going to get to live in. So a lot of people get a little bit overexcited here and do a little too much. So first, let's talk about meeting new people. That dog now is in an unfamiliar environment with an unfamiliar person. And now maybe you have like a whole bunch of family members, you've got some kids, maybe you even have some other pets. And now that dog's in a brand new place and all these people are all of a sudden here and they're all trying to interact with the dog. That can be extremely intimidating, especially if the dog is a little bit more on the fearful side, sensitive side, nervous side. Some dogs are very overt with communicating that they're uncomfortable, right? They're going to show really, really obvious signs, maybe even barking, backing up, trying to run away, all that type of stuff. Some dogs are more covert, very slight signs that they're uncomfortable with the social interaction. The mistake a lot of people make is they try to force the social interaction right away when the dog is clearly uncomfortable, instead of giving the dog time to acclimate to the new people, to the new pets, to the new environment. Hey. So you can see here, guys, this dog is in a state of insecurity. He does not want me to touch him, right? Hey, buddy. Look, mouth closed. He leaned back, right? He is not comfortable with me touching him. He's also not comfortable with the camera, the huffing and the puffing. The worst thing I can do now is force myself upon this dog, or for her to force the dog to me, which is what a lot of people do. Let's say that we were family members and she brought this rescue dog home. The worst thing I could do is go and pet him. So some good strategies to use is maybe I could offer him some food, right? And you notice that I did not force him to take the food from me. And in fact, as the food dropped, I took a step away. I let him smell, I drop, and I move away, and I allow him to engage and enjoy the food. Another solution is I will take the dog for a walk. I already have a nonverbal connection between me and him. The last thing I'm going to do again is force myself on him. I just walk, and we'll just walk, right? And you could see, like in the beginning, he was a little insecure, but I'm not engaging with him. Right? I might drop some more food for him, so on and so forth. But as you see, like as we begin to travel, as we begin to move, the dog becomes more comfortable. And you see now he engages with me. I'm still not putting myself on him. So important. That's a good boy. I'll acknowledge him maybe a little bit verbally, but even here, like if I look in his eyes, this is me now engaging with him. So I have to be very cautious about that. If I'm like looking at him and I'm seeing he's a little bit insecure, I'm not even going to look at him. I'm going to look around him. So like right now, it might look like I'm looking at the dog. I see him in my peripheral vision, but I'm not focused on him. And then when I see like he has a nice positive body language, right? Good boy. I might start to give him a little bit of verbal acknowledgement. Good job, buddy. Good job. And that'll be it. And if I do this a couple of times, we'll be friends. Guaranteed. So another thing, right, is if we have this new dog, right? And we have maybe an existing family dog, and we have other members of the family, right? What we're going to do is instead of all of us trying to engage with the dog, we're going to commingle. We're just going to go hang out maybe in the backyard like this, and we'll all just kind of stand around. Or maybe we all just go for a walk. Let's go for a walk, guys. And we'll all just walk together. There's something super powerful about everybody just walking together, right? You'll see that the dog actually becomes significantly more comfortable in that type of situation. Right? Because he's like, oh, we're all doing something together. Even the other dog, so on and so forth. Commingling is really, really big. Again, nobody except the handler is engaging with the dog right now. He's being around all of us and having a positive experience. That's so important.
Dragged on walks? Is walking your dog dangerous and uncomfortable? We fix pulling in as little as 10 minutes. Teach your dog to walk on a loose leash in our no-pull walking course at shieldcanineonline.com.
So that's socialization for the first day covered. Let's talk about management. Management is where a lot of people fail. I want you to really fix this word into your mind. Management. Management is how you keep the dog, how you set up the environment to be conducive for the dog's success. And what I mean by that is, I want you to think about, for those of you that are parents, you guys will understand exactly what I'm saying here. Child-proofing a house, right? What do? You put up gates in certain areas where you don't want the child to maybe go down the stairs or fall down the stairs, so on and so forth. Maybe you cover up certain things that you don't want the child putting their fingers in or getting into. It is the same for a new dog. There are going to be certain areas of the home that you don't want the dog in. So make sure that those areas are inaccessible, whether you're using gates, closing doors, simple things like that. The other thing is, understanding that you need to start small in order to get big. Everybody wants their dog to be completely loose in the house and feel free and comfortable and just kind of hang out wherever he wants in the house, sleep, and be in the common area when you're in the common area, so on and so forth. I understand that. But in order to get to that, and in order to maximize the likelihood that you can get to that with your new dog, don't let them loose all at once. I want you to think about this again from a parenting perspective. If you had a 3-year-old child or a 2-year-old child and you moved to a brand new house and it was like 4,000 or 5,000 square feet, would you let the kid loose in the house? Of course you wouldn't. Because you know that that child would go and get themselves into a whole bunch of trouble. They'd probably damage something. They might hurt themselves because they just don't know how to be in that space, especially without adult supervision. Your new dog is no different. He's functioning on that same level. The chances that he's going to be successful in that situation, if you just cut him loose in the big house and expect that he's going to take care of himself and do the right thing, there's a higher likelihood he's going to start to eliminate in the house, destroy things in the house, so on and so forth. And that's why your management's so important. So for me in the beginning, I strongly suggest establishing a space for the dog in the beginning, whether it's a specific bedroom, a den, the basement, something like that, where it's the dog's space and it's kind of low traffic and quieter. And then putting a crate there and going through some crate training and showing the dog how to be in the crate. The crate should be a place where the dog can kind of get away from everything, decompress, calm down, and feel safe. Now, some dogs are not familiar with the crate or they have never been properly crate trained. Good news, there are free videos on YouTube that go over that from myself and from other creators. And then there are also step-by-step instructions in my online courses, whether it's the puppy course, the rescue dog bundle, so on and so forth, where I go over the step-by-step on how to teach an adult dog to be in a crate, etc., etc. Crate training is so important. What you have to think about, again, thinking about it from a parenting perspective, right? Strategic containment is so important to making the dog feel safe and preventing bad things from happening. If you don't have time to be with the dog and to be directly supervising the dog, in the beginning, that dog should be in the crate. Because if you leave him to his own devices, such a high likelihood that things will go south. One more thing I want to throw in there on the crate. A lot of people think it's like cruel. They don't understand, right? They think it's cruel to put a dog in a crate. No, I want you to think of it again from a child's perspective. Why do children sleep in cribs and playpens? Why do children nap in cribs and playpens? That's basically a crate for a child. It's the same shape as a crate. The only exception is there's no roof. Even to the extent that kids that are 3 years old that can climb out of a crib or climb out of a playpen still habitually prefer to sleep in a crib or a playpen. Both my kids were that way. They didn't want to leave, even though they could physically get out whenever they wanted. They still chose to be in there. Why? Because that containment made them feel safe and secure. They're very small. The space is very big. That's why we don't generally put small children in large bedrooms and say, okay, go to bed. We know they're going to get into trouble. We know they're not going to be able to settle down. We know they're going to feel unsafe, so on and so forth. That's why we put them in a small place where they can feel contained, safe, and secure. Your dog is the same, if not even more so, because dogs are denning animals. They like to den. Think about a dog who's afraid, insecure. What do? The first thing they do is they look for somewhere to hide, underneath something, in something. They go under between furniture. They're always looking for small, tight spaces to be in. The crate provides that in a safe and productive manner, and it gives your dog a place to decompress, right? And it gives you the ability to put the dog somewhere, know that he's safe, and know that he's in a good mental place. Again, if you want tips on crate training, check out our online courses. The next thing, guys, is you need to show the dog where he should be eliminating, where he needs to go to the bathroom, okay? So put your dog on a leash, take him out in the backyard, walk him around, and let him go to the bathroom. When he goes to the bathroom, I want you to mark and give him a piece of food. Now, what a marker is, there's much more detailed videos on this. In fact, I have free videos on my YouTube channel about marker training. But fundamentally, what a mark is, it is pairing a sound or a word with a specific outcome. So in the beginning, right away, I like to teach the dog the sound for food. So for me, I say chip, and I give the dog a piece of food. He learns really quickly. Every time he hears that weird chip noise, he's getting a piece of food, and this now enables me to start to mark positive behaviors, productive behaviors, and I can start to really train the dog right away. And very quickly, the dog will understand this, especially if they like the food. So for me, I'm going to take him in the backyard, walk him around. He's going to go to the bathroom, chip, and I'm going to feed him, right? And he's going to quickly learn, oh, not only is this where we go to the bathroom, I also get stuff for going to the bathroom here, positive experience, et cetera, et cetera. I am not going to let him loose in the house. He's going to be on a leash in the house when he's with me, when he's with the family. That is going to be day one. First off, I already mentioned it in day one, but I'm going to repeat it. Crate training. So important. I need you guys to properly crate train the dog. It's really going to help the dog learn to be in your home in a safe and productive manner. Don't worry, just because we're crate training the dog now doesn't mean that later the dog can't be loose in the house. You're just giving yourself a tool now to safely contain the dog until he's familiar with your home and he's built good habits. So the next thing that we're going to do, guys, is we're going to talk about feeding the dog. I am not going to be feeding the dog from the bowl.